Hello there, Angela. Thank you so much for agreeing to meet me today for this coaching session for the coaching deep dive. I hope that you're okay if we use this video on YouTube.
Absolutely.
All right. So what is it that I can help you work on today?
Well, I have my stepkids are coming to visit here in a couple of weeks, and they want to do the Freedom Trail around Boston, and I would like to lose a little bit of weight before they get here to kind of help so that I'm not breathing so hard and leaning against building while they want to visit.
So I'm hearing you say that you would like to exercise or you would like to change your eating habit.
I think eating habits to take a little bit of the weight off.
Okay.
Just to be able to trim up a little bit.
So when you look at the way that you currently eat, is it that you eat the wrong things?
Yes.
Okay. So what to you in your mind's eye, you personally, is the wrong things?
I do really well on doing like the carb-free or low carb or keto. My body reacts really fast to that.
Okay. And you're not currently eating that diet?
No.
So what are some of the cheat foods?
Bread.
Oh,
Bread
girl.
and lots of bread.
I feel you.
I love bread.
So if you could stop for just a moment, do you mind closing your eyes?
Mm-mm.
Okay. I'm just going to say the word bread. And I want you to tell me what emotions come up.
Good ones. Warm and comforting and smells good and home.
Is there by any chance like a little highlight reel of memories that goes by in the subconscious?
Well, we used to live by a bakery, and my grandmother was a chef, and she used to bake wonderful things.
About how old would this be?
I would say starting 8th grade, she came to live with us. So 8th grade through high school.
Was the family life before Grandma came to stay with you rocky at all?
Mm-hmm.
So was Grandma by any chance a buffer?
No, she came about a year after my mom met my dad.
Mm-hmm.
And so she just we all moved up to Gold Beach. And it was just, everything was different all of a sudden. The whole world changed when we moved to Gold Beach. It became positive.
Okay, so prior to that, so I just want to revisit something really quick because it kind of confuses me. Your mom met your dad after you were born?
Yeah, when I was 10.
So this is your stepdad?
Correct.
So the relationship between your mom and your stepdad up until Grandma's arrival was rocky?
Oh, no, it was great. No, he came in and saved us, basically.
Okay, so Grandma wasn't what necessarily began the upward tick in the improvement of your life.
No, but she came at the same time as the upward tick.
Gotcha. So Grandma and the stepdad at the same time? Same range?
Same range, yeah.
Okay.
Same range.
And before Grandma and the stepdad came, I'm guessing that there was at least a little emotional volatility involved?
At least a little.
Okay. Yeah. I don't want to make it.
Well, no, it's okay. It's cool. My dad abandoned us when I was 2. And so, just the usual stuff that happens when mom has to work and raise 3 kids with no child support in a man's world at the time, that she had to work twice as hard, and the men around her got raises because they had families to raise, and not her, because she was a woman on her own with no child support with a family to raise.
I'm really sorry. That must have been rough for you.
For her, well, it was rough for everybody, yeah.
Would it be fair to say that prior to that changing, that there wasn't a lot of tasty fresh baked bread?
No. Yes, that would be. Well, we did have hot chocolate and toast for supper a lot. So, so maybe that was always a treat. Pancakes for supper was a treat.
A treat because it was something that you enjoyed, or a treat?
Yeah, we enjoyed it, but that was all mom could afford.
Gotcha. So what was the difference between the food that you enjoyed with mom prior to stepdad and grandma and the food after stepdad and grandma arrived?
I don't remember anything but hot chocolate and toast and pancakes before
Ah,
grandma and dad.
got it.
I
Now,
don't, the other meals, I know we had other meals, but I don't recall.
mm, and would you say that the quality of the food that you ate up until that time was a little bit on the processed side?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Mom was pretty tired.
I can only imagine. Can
Hmm.
only imagine. So after,
Well, and of course I don't remember. So there
mhm,
could have been other things. I
mhm,
just know the things that I like or what stands out in my memory.
mm. When is the first time that you made the conscious connection between bread and emotional happiness?
I was always happy when we had pancakes and hot chocolate and toast for supper.
Is there a specific memory that comes to mind when you think of having pancakes or
For
hot?
some reason, the basement apartment, that was a scary place because I was the oldest. And so, sometimes I'd be in charge of my two younger siblings.
Mm-hmm,
And sometimes people would walk by the windows, the basement apartment windows and the alley in the back.
mm-hmm,
And I remember one time a man looked down into the window,
mm.
one of those times when we were by ourselves. There was a neighbor that was kind of keeping an eye on us, but I was too afraid to go out to the neighbor's house because that man was out there. Just things like that. That was
It
kind of,
must have felt like you were kind of trapped down there.
it was just a little scary because I don't like basements very much.
Hmm. But you were you in contact with the basement prior to that, or was this your first experience with the basement?
No, we lived in a basement apartment.
But prior to this basement apartment, had you ever had any contact with the basement?
No.
So it was this basement apartment that gave rise to your dislike of basements?
Hmm. I never thought of it, but possibly. We
Was there,
didn't live there a long time. We lived in a house before that.
and you say that you don't remember much of this time.
Mm-mm.
Mm. Did mom have a lot of boyfriends?
No.
So it was just mom and the kids, basically.
Hmm.
And it sounds like you were kind of fulfilling the role of the second parent at that time.
Yeah, I always did it. It was kind of rough when Dad came along because I thought I was the boss, and so it was an interesting little dynamic change.
Wow. I would not want to be the man butting heads with you in that situation.
Oh, why do you think I do what I do now?
Penance, perhaps?
Oh my God, yeah, that poor man. Oh,
Wow. So, because of the arrival of stepdad, grandma, you were able to move to Oregon where life got significantly better.
absolutely, yeah.
And then food, was food still a way that you remember
It got
feeling
better.
better through, or
Yeah.
did food become more of a this is how I thrive feeling to it? Like a healthier, more nutritious, nourishing feel to the food.
Oh no, it was just good. Grandma would do things like make big cinnamon rolls like this big.
God
Gigantic.
bless grandma, huh?
Yeah, every morning when I'd say, "Okay, I'm going to go on a diet," it was like she had this psychic connection. I'd come home from school and there'd be a big pan of cinnamon rolls. So she
Mm.
baked stuff like that. But the food was good. We ate better um, quality of food, definitely. There was
Mm.
more cooking, and I don't remember the food, but I do remember the first time I tried to cook a meal for my boyfriend. I made a tuna casserole and made him violently ill, and I didn't cook for years. In fact, for about 45 more years.
Wow. That's pretty intense, lady.
Uh-huh.
That's really intense. Almost like death sick or
Yeah, I don't know what happened, but yeah, it was pretty violently ill.
wow. So something just came to me to try, kind of an energetic NLP kind of thing. Would you be willing to kind of play with something with me?
Sure.
Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to explore your ability to create the same uplifted emotional state with your own energy as opposed to food. Would you be willing to try that with me?
Sure.
Okay. So if you don't mind closing your eyes, I'd just love for you to take a moment and kind of just ground to get comfortable where you're at. And just breathe in and breathe out a couple of times. Just start to let your body relax. It's the end of the day. I'm sure that you've been busy. There you go. Just leaning back. And kind of just relaxing into the space that you're in. There's nothing that needs to be thought about, figured out, controlled, or protected from. Just you in this space. Now, I'd like you to take me back to one of those times in Oregon, maybe sitting around the table with mom and dad and grandma, having one of those really incredible cinnamon rolls. Can you do that for me? Why don't you tell me about that?
Actually, I'm not remembering us sitting around a table.
What are you remembering?
Raiding the pan as soon as I got home from school.
So tell me about that. Tell me about coming home from school, finding a pan of cinnamon rolls, and
Damn it, Grandma.
Good stuff, right?
Oh, man.
Can you taste it?
Mm.
What does that sugary taste do inside your brain? What do you feel as a sensation in your brain as soon as you put that first bite of sugary sweet roll in your mouth?
Happy.
You start to get those synapses firing?
Mm-hmm.
Mm. So
Yeah,
this,
it's almost like little fireworks going off.
like behind your eyes as you're
Yeah,
eating?
up in my brain. Little fireworks show.
Mm. That must feel really relaxing and comforting. This particular memory that you have of coming home from school and raiding the pan, was there anything that happened during that day at school?
Mm. Well, there was a lot of things that happened at school.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to think. Because the 8th grade was the most traumatic, but it turned into something good.
Mm.
I made enemies with the popular kids right off the bat, so.
Why does this not surprise me?
I have a knack for this stuff. So that was, you know, I'm sure I had up and down emotions about all of that.
Mm. So I'd just like you to breathe into that space of those up and down emotions, that volatility that was happening at school. Okay? Just like you to breathe into that space, and I would like you to imagine that you are breathing in through your heart chakra. Can you do that for me? Right there in the center of your chest. And that as you're pulling that air in to your heart chakra, that it begins to turn this beautiful color of green, whatever color works best for you, whatever color makes you feel best. Can you do that for me? And as you're breathing it in through that heart chakra and it's turning that perfect color of green for you, I'd like you to just imagine that green beginning to spread through your entire body, up into your shoulders, your arms, down through your wrists and into your hands, up through your neck and into the cranial cavity, into your brain, down from the heart chakra into the stomach, into the place where we digest and feel our food, and then down into the pelvic floor, the hips, into the legs, the knees, and the feet. I'd like you to just sit there for a moment with that perfect green light just starting to circulate through your body. You can see it beginning to spin like a wheel up into your brain and then back down your spine, down into the pelvic floor, and then back up and through your brain and back down your spine again, and just letting it blossom like a flower. And as you're doing that, I just want to invite you to step a little bit outside of your body. Just that quick and easy step where you just step forward, just a couple of paces. And then I'd like to invite you to turn around and to watch this light just so effortlessly and easily cycling through your body, this healing, nourishing green light. Can you tell me what you see going on in your body?
Yeah, it's like the outline of my body, and then the green light's like smoke, just filling in the outlines.
And how is your brain feeling?
Good.
Now I'd like you to imagine this same green light starting to be absorbed into your cells. These same cells that have developed the craving for these sweet carbs. No judgment being made, just your cells just starting to just drink that in, kind of like a sponge that's dry and gets put over a puddle of water. There's nothing that you need to do, just allow this to happen. Allow the cells to begin to just drink in this light. And then as the cells are drinking in the light, just allowing yourself to see that green begin to leak down into the level of your DNA until you can start to see all of the DNA helix strands in your body just filling so easily with this green smoke. Can you do that for me? I just invite you to feel how fulfilling this feels. How there's nothing that needs to be fixed or run from. But everything just becomes so peaceful and easy. And now leaking down past the DNA to the atomic level, to the level of neutrons, protons, electrons, and all of that empty space in the atom. And just seeing this green smoke now just beginning to fill all the empty space of every atom in your body. And how easily they fill. They just drink this light up so easily. And it begins to spin in each atom around the nucleus. And as this is happening, I want you to tell me, what are you feeling, my love?
I'm feeling and thinking and feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
My body feels really relaxed, and I like that sensation. I can see the green absorbing everywhere. And realizing the connection is the toast, the hot chocolate and toast and the pancakes. That was the bleak. That was the darkness, and those were the lights.
Is there a specific memory that pops up in relation to those foods?
I just remember sitting at the table and being happy that we had hot chocolate and toast.
Mm.
And
Can you describe the scene that's going on around you?
I think it was a yellow kitchen, and I'm on my knees on the chair on the table,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a stack of toast on the table. And Mom made hot chocolate, so Mom's sitting there with us,
Mm-hmm.
and we get hot chocolate and toast for supper. And I like hot chocolate and toast, and I like having Mom because I missed my mom. I liked spending time with my mom.
Mm. It sounds like it's a really full memory.
Yeah, I just see smiles. And peripherally, I see my sister and brother, but I see my mom's face smiling, and I'm smiling, and I'm looking at that stack of toast and good things and yum, and hot chocolate and toast are my favorite. And having Mom at the table with us is wonderful.
Mm.
And we're in that basement apartment.
Would you mind trying something for me? I'd like for you to reach out and to take Mom's hand if you can do that. Let me know when and if you can complete that.
It's a little emotional.
I know. I'm right here. I'm right here with you. Whatever it is that you're feeling is
It's kind of weird because she turned into a picture
a picture of what?
herself. There's a beautiful picture of my mom, and it's like I'm holding her hand, but I see a picture instead of her.
Mm.
See this beautiful picture of her smiling.
Mm. Is this a picture from after you moved to Oregon?
No, this is a picture around that time, somewhere in that time frame.
So Mom has collapsed from 3D down to 2D in the memory?
Yeah, it's a specific picture.
What is the emotional attachment to this picture?
I love this picture. My mom's beautiful, and as 3 kids are standing around her.
Mm. Can you step into this picture of you, Mom, and your 2 siblings?
For some reason, that feels better.
Mm.
I don't remember taking the picture.
Mm. Well, now that you're standing in the picture with your mom, can you describe to me what you're feeling emotionally?
Proud of my mom.
Mm. Are you happy? Are you sad?
No, I'm happy.
And from where you are standing in the picture right now, can you see back out the picture into the kitchen where you were just standing? Or actually kneeling, I should say.
I keep seeing it from the other angle.
Are you in the kitchen as well, or just the picture?
Well, see, now the whole picture of all 3 of us is at the end of the table. I'm sitting on the chair here. The table goes like this, and I'm seeing everything from over here looking that. And I was in the picture, but when I look out, I keep going back over to this place over here and looking past myself, looking at the picture. With the picture, I don't know if you can see my hands. The picture at the end of the table.
So you're looking over your own shoulder.
Correct.
What are you, the person that you are looking over, feeling right now?
Tightness.
Where at?
My chest.
I'd like you, the observer, to just simply place your hand on the shoulder of the self that you are observing and just send some calming energy through your hand into this version of yourself. Can you do that for me? How do you feel?
I don't know.
Are you feeling kind of lost right now? Okay. I'd like you to just step back completely from that memory of the kitchen. Can you do that for me? Do you feel comfortable doing that? I'd like you to just step out. Are you okay?
Yeah, I just don't have any Kleenexes. I wasn't expecting to need any.
Do you want to go get some? I can wait here.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay.
Alrighty then.
Why don't you talk to me about what that experience felt like for you?
Interesting. I know that I was afraid there a lot.
Mm.
And I think it was Uncle Dave. Uncle Dave was the adult in the building down on the other end of the apartments. There was like, I don't know, like 10 apartments, I think, there. And it was just,
Is
so
this
there's,
something that you would like to explore?
yeah, it's kind of interesting because all of a sudden it's like, that's where the comfort of the food is coming from.
Mm.
That's the comfort, the happiness of having that food in that place. Because that was pretty bleak. There was a lot of fear going on there.
The comfort of the food was coming from the memory that you have of your mom being present, or it was covering the fear that you had of Uncle Dave?
No, I wasn't afraid of Uncle Dave. Just he was the adult that if I needed help, I could go to Uncle Dave. He
Okay, I
was
misunderstood.
in the apartment at the end.
Okay.
So he was a friend of my mom's in the end apartment.
Okay.
But for the most part, I didn't go. Plus I was afraid to go outside in the dark anyway.
So I'm picking up, number one, on a lot of tightness in the way that you're talking. Am I correct there?
Yeah, my throat is kind of closed up.
Yeah. So what I would just like to do really quickly is for you to just give your brain permission to acknowledge where you are right now, how old you are, and that you're safe. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm just going to give your brain permission to just open your throat back up again. That it's okay to talk about this. It's okay. Are you all right doing that?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember how old I was there. I think that must have been the first grade.
Mm.
Because I went to Northside in the first grade and we had a babysitter who gave us our choice of either ketchup sandwiches or mayonnaise sandwiches. Her daughter got meat on her sandwiches, but
Mm.
didn't like her very much. So we had our babysitter after school, but that must have been when we lived in that apartment, because the rest of the time we lived in a place called the greenhouse, except for in the 4th grade.
Mm.
So it must have been around the 1st grade is all I could think of.
And it's right around
I
this
was around
time.
5 or 6 years old.
And the fear that you speak of is also throughout this period of time, the fear of being down in the basement and not
Yeah,
being
that's
able.
when we lived there. That's when we lived there. It was only for a year.
Mhm.
It was because I went to kindergarten in grammar number 2, 1st grade in North Side, and we went back to grammar number 2 in 2nd grade. So there was 3 elementary schools.
Now, I just want to ask a question, and I'm actually going to be bringing into the session some pre-existing knowledge that I have of you. Are you okay with that?
Yes,
Okay. Is this around the same time that you had the boyfriend that you were defending?
that was the 4th. Yes, except for he wasn't at the North Side. He was still back at grammar number 2. So when I moved to the North Side, I moved away from him until
But
the 2nd grade when I moved back.
all around this same period of time, you
Yes.
were standing up for a boy who was getting bullied pretty regularly.
Yes, but not in this place. In this place, I was alone. I didn't have any friends. I didn't know anybody.
Mm. So you were utterly in. I can imagine that at that age, it must have felt somewhat like being trapped,
Yeah,
altogether trapped.
and I didn't like the basement, and I didn't like people looking in the windows.
Mm. I'm so
I was
sorry.
scared.
I can only imagine how frightening that must have been.
So hot chocolate and toast was definitely a bright point.
Yeah. Can you see how your adult mind is still attaching
Comfort.
comfort to the food?
That's a little spot of happiness, because there wasn't much happiness during that period. And I'm sure we did things because my mom was a good mom. So, we'd go to the park and things like that. But in that place, that's the only thing I can remember is the man looking in the window and that hot chocolate and toast, just being afraid a lot.
So let me ask your adult mind a question. Is there a need for this emotional signature to food anymore? Are you still in that same apartment?
Mm-mm.
Are you alone without any friends?
Mm-mm.
Are you being babysat by a woman who treats you less than she treats her own child?
Mm-mm.
So can you give your brain permission to begin to let this cord unravel? You see how trying to nitpick what you eat when you have a cord attached to a memory that's this vivid and vibrant is really heaping abuse on that poor little girl that was just trying to survive?
Mm-hmm.
You look very, very sad right now. What do you need to say?
Well, because it's not like it was traumatic or anything. It's just interesting.
You are a woman who feels extremely deeply. Am I correct?
Mm.
So is trauma the event that happened, or is it the experience of the person witnessing and involved in the event?
Yeah.
Can you give yourself that grace? This
And
was traumatic for you.
yeah. And I was responsible for my little brother and sister. The lady, we went there after school, but at nighttime we were home. And, we were home a lot alone because of mom's shifts. I'm not sure how that worked out or how often it was. I don't recall that much about that period except for being home alone at night and Uncle Dave being up the street
Mm.
when mom worked. And, my brother and sister, because I was responsible.
Mm.
So maybe it didn't happen very often. I don't really know.
Well, there's a reason why your mind is protecting you from it. You don't really need to know that reason right now. You just need to trust that your mind has your best interest at heart. Correct?
Yeah, but it makes sense. Everything, all of our memories, all of our literal translations come before 7 years old usually. And
Yeah.
hot chocolate and toast made me damn happy. And very little made me happy during that period. So
Would you mind talking to me about what makes you happy now?
everything.
Well, just tell me a couple things. Describe them to me.
I'm happy every day. Everything. I just enjoy a beautiful day. I enjoy just sitting, reading a book, just sitting next to my husband, just not even talking, or I don't know. There's everything every day. There's a lot that I'm grateful for every single day.
So
But
when
I'm just happy. I'm just happy.
So when you think about a beautiful day, what is it about that beautiful day that makes you happy?
I woke up.
Okay. Is it the
I woke
color
up and
of
got
the
to
sky?
experience. No,
Is
it
it the
doesn't matter if it's
vitamin D of the
rainy.
sun?
It doesn't matter if it's sunny. It doesn't matter if it's rainy.
Just that you woke up.
I'm just every single day I'm so grateful for the life that I have. I am so
Wow.
happy that I get to live this life.
That you get to read. and
I
sit
get
next
to,
your
I get to
husband.
do whatever I want to do. It's just, I mean, I don't get to fly to Paris, but I don't really want to do that yet. If I
Yeah.
really wanted to do it, I'm sure I could find a way to do it,
Knowing you, yes, you could.
Yes. And that's
When you were motivated.
that makes me happy because I do know that I can do anything that I set my mind to do. I've done it and I know that I can do it. And that right there makes me happy.
So can you set your mind to not using bread?
I knew that was going to trap me.
You had to know that wasn't just going to right by me.
As soon as you said you have to, I was like, crap.
No, come back. But with your happiness, then, you are a genuinely happy, bubbly
That's
person.
what doesn't make sense to me. That it's not like I'm stuffing down emotions currently.
But can you see the way that at a very young, impressionable state in your life, you created a neural groove that equated those sweet carbs with happiness?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not that you need to cover anything up or that it's not a lack of understanding here. That was a path that has been worn. And then even after you got out of that situation, that path has been used over and over by your brain.
Eating good food makes me happy. It really,
me
even
happy
today, it's
too.
just like I do this. I get so excited.
I do too. Like if somebody makes me like an incredible veggie
I savor
burger,
it. I love it. Oh,
almost to the point of making obscene noises while I'm eating, that
There you
kind of
go.
enjoyment.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Is there anything wrong with that?
No, I enjoy it a lot.
Mm.
Except for when I want to control this. I've got
What's wrong with that?
too much of me, and because it's not healthy.
I can't imagine that there would ever be a time where there would be too much you.
There's people who have said they had too much, man. You're too much.
That makes no sense to me whatsoever.